That's all I understand.
Thank you very much.
Well, they have children and they get a standing ovation. I don't know what such a big deal is, you know. How are you anyway?
Oh, wonderful.
Fine.
Lovely to see you. Really lovely to see you. Does this traveling ever get to you? You travel everywhere with the kids, don't you?
It's been about 23 years now. I've been on the road.
Well, you must love it. I mean, you must love being on the
As long as we're
road.
together, we're happy.
That's about all we know, Don.
Yes. What did you do before you started to have children?
Well, I'm a first love.
You,
I'm a real estate man in my business, First
Right.
Love, and insurance,
right.
and I
was
work
his
for you.
secretary.
And you were a secretary. Well, you were the one that started playing the piano all the time, and is that right? You were playing the piano?
I
And
used to play the saxophone in a little dance band before I was married, and after I was married for a little while. And he's the one they get the voice from, though. He loves to sing.
It's all her fault, Don.
And we love music, and we love having a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
I mean, life is serious enough. You might as well have a little fun as you go along.
well, I reckon that's true. Yeah, I wouldn't go against that. What about, let me ask you some personals. Now, I'm not trying to really probe. I'm just trying to find out some things. Who are the scallywags? Now, there had to be some among... Which one?
I'm recalling a scene in California of Donnie and Marie. They stole my jewelry and buried it in the backyard and then couldn't find it. That's just one episode.
We were playing pirate, I guess, or something.
Well, why don't you tell them about the other thing that we did with the your clothing?
Oh, yeah.
The peanut butter.
All your clothes?
I was hanging
So
out.
many that she can't remember.
Too many. Hanging out clothes one day. I came in the house and it's too quiet, you know. So I heard a little rustle in the bedroom, and there the two of them are with their hands in the peanut butter, going all over their clothes and the walls and the bedspread. So I hurried up and got the movie camera because I knew one day they would never believe me. So I have that on film.
You do?
I do.
How come I don't have that film? I would love to see it.
That's in a deep,
A
dark
peanut-covered
place.
Donny Osmond, a peanut butter-covered Donny Osmond. It'd be lovely. What about the educational process? This must have been pretty difficult. I mean, with all the kids entertaining and moving around on the road, how did you cope with that?
Well, we tried public schools for a little while, but it just was too demanding down in Los Angeles, where we'd try to, well, you can't please two masters, the school board and a private tutor. So we eventually went with correspondence courses and set up our own school, which worked very well.
My mother comes from a whole line of school teachers, and we had a lot of schooling that way, as well as correspondence and private tutors.
Do you think your mom was a stricter teacher than perhaps maybe a teacher would have been?
We had teachers.
I imagine you get away with a lot less with your mom. I mean, you can lie to a teacher, but you can't lie to your mom.
We had a lot of teachers.
When
though.
we were doing the Donnie and Marie shows, for example, I was underage, I was a minor, Donnie was also. And we had our tutor there on the set with us. We had, it wasn't like you walk to a class and socialize. It was like 3 hours of concentrated work, then you'd have a break, and then you go back into concentrated study. And I graduated a year early because of it, because you could move at your own pace. You couldn't move slow, but you could move as fast as you want.
But Don, you were right when you said that the mother was strict as far as schooling. Both of our parents were, because they really believed in education. As a matter of fact, I learned how to read and write before I went to school, so they skipped me up to the 2nd grade. I skipped kindergarten
It's a very
first.
disciplined thing. You have to know, and they knew that they had to get it this way or else forget show business, because they had to graduate from high school.
I'd like to insert a thought. The Los Angeles School Board has a very good system. It is a good system. And so we had our correspondence on top of their system, which made it very, very good. Wayne put himself through trigonometry without a teacher.
Is that right?
Wayne's very
And you want to know something else about Wayne? He's a pilot, okay? He got his pilot's license before he got his driver's license. Boy, I hated to
I
drive
gotta
with
tell
him,
you,
I tell you.
That was the worst experience that ever happened to me. You know, here I am, barely 17 years old, and that's the minimum age you can get. Just barely turned 17. Got my pilot's license. Before I could have, my mother would drive me to the airport so I could fly 300 or 400 miles, and then come back. And then I'd call my mother and she'd come get me, which is a 3-mile trip to home, you know. Yeah. And so I said, well, this is ridiculous. I've got to get my driver's license. So I said, if I can get a pilot's license, easy to get a driver's license. So I go, and I go to get my driver's license, and I failed. On right away, you know, and I turned right in front of someone darn near ruined our car.
The man in the world is allowed above the ground. That's it.
I didn't know what I was doing.
No place else to go. Yeah, were you born in Utah?
No, I was born in Idaho. He was born in
I was
Wyoming.
born up by Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I'm a cowboy.
You are?
Really, I am.
Yeah.
I like to be.
You,
No, I have a ranch, a cattle ranch. It isn't a paying proposition, but it's a lot of fun.
That's his escape.
Did you go to?
They did it for me.
did-
I appreciate it.
Did you go to Utah because of the Mormon community there?
No, he was in the service over in England for about 3 years, came back to get a job there.
Right.
And that's where I was working.
I guess that's.
And how important is the Mormon thing to you? I always hear talk about this. We had a 60 Minutes documentary on you too. You may have remembered George Negus from here went over there and did a documentary on it. They talked about all of that, but
It's a way of life. 7-day-a-week way of life.
yes.
A lot of people say, well, are you Mormons because your parents were Mormons? And I say, well, yes, that probably influenced us a great deal, but I still consider myself a convert because I have studied all the major religions for about 35 years now, and I can't find anything to equal it, to be honest with you.
My researcher said something about you starting your own church. Or you up your own church? Oh, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Was it something that said, or maybe there's enough of you to have another branch. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. And there's one other very important question I'd like to ask. What have you got written on your hand?
My hand?
Yes.
I have some makeup and stuff on there.
There was a word on it. Is it a Q or something? No, what is it?
Oh, this right here? It says lift. We switched the words to the song. And we did it, and since it's live, I came here like 30 minutes before the show.
Yeah.
We always do that.
And
Hold
he
your hand
always
up just
says,
so you can
Marie,
see
you
it."
take this part, and I'll take this part, and you take this part.
Oh, your hand up.
And
Let me see. Just a minute.
It says lift.
Look.
We do that all the time. Like we were performing in like
You write the lyrics on your
That's
hand?
Bangkok?
that's how we got through half
We
the
would go-
Donnie Marie shows.
We'd be in Bangkok, you know, like we'd have some lines to say in the language.
Yeah.
We'd say, "Hello there." Sign language. You know, when we have to say
Our
something.
two older brothers are deaf, and so we learned the sign.
Yeah, and they taught us the sign language, and it was really funny. One day, there was these people across the street talking, and we couldn't hear what they were saying, and we asked Tommy to read their lips. You know, he was deaf; he could really read lips, and we said, "What did they say?" He says, "I'm not going to tell you."
You can always see that. Well, let me, I want to do a little plug here. This is something, it's the first time this has been announced, and let me tell you about this now, and we'll have to discuss this. There was an Osmonds, it's called the Osmonds in Concert, and it's a TV special, and I understand that this was done in your home state, in Utah. Is that right? And you expected 10,000 people to show up at this concert, but what showed up?
26.
Well,
It was
for 2 nights,
46.
46,000 people you worked in front of.
We were originally going to do one concert to 10, and the response was so nice that we did 2 concerts for 46.
Okay, well, this whole thing was recorded, and it is an exciting night. I understand all of the things that you do are there, plus a little bit more. I guess there's fireworks and smoke and horses and everything. They tell me. Yes, wonderful night. Anyway, it's the Osmonds in Concert, it's called. It's a TV special. It's going to be on next Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. in Melbourne and Sydney. I would advise you not to miss it. It's a heck of a show. How many is in the cast? Is it...
cast of thousands.
Yes? All Osmonds, yes. Right. All Osmonds, or future Osmonds, they could be as well, with all the single people. Anyway, I would really advise you to watch that, that television special. It is an event, and you will love it. It's on 7:30 next Wednesday night. Just one other question. They're signaling me here because you fellas are going to do a song with me or something, but I want to ask you...
We talked on the satellite. You said you'd do a number with us.
That's right.
We want to do it.
I want to do it. I want to ask you one question before we do it. You had some bad press in England.
Yeah.
The word even got here that there was bad press in England. Yet you arrive in this country, and you're doing more concerts than you intended to do here, and you're completely sold out.
Yeah.
Now, someone said to me this afternoon, it was exactly the same situation in England, and nobody can understand about the bad write-ups in England.
Well, as
now,
long as
without
they
you sounding like you're copping out or making an excuse, what happened?
Well, as long as they spell our name right. Let them
Good advertising.
It's been a great tour. It's been like that pretty much all over the world, and it was great. And I sang too hard last night.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong. But it's we've had great success all over, and it was not reported properly. And but that's past. We don't care. Like we say, as long as they spell our name right. But
The audiences were there. The audiences are the ones that saw it, and they were fantastic.
We had
and-
beautiful audiences.
And that's all that matters.
I've seen you guys perform on any number of occasions, and there ain't no way you ever do a bad show. Anyway, you're gonna teach me this song.
why don't I teach you-
Yeah?
why don't I
Excuse us for a minute, Mother.